Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. I want to take time to thank Sean and the gang over at Firearms Radio Network for giving us a place to hang out every week and a place to post stuff. And I want to thank Patriot Patch Company, being the bandwidth sponsor of the show. PatriotPatch.co. So, in my hand, just hand delivered by the post office today, I have the March Patch of the Month patch. What do we got? Oh, well, that's kind of nice. We've got ourselves a lovely little Chris Vector in green on a little Celtic background. It says short barrel, shorter temper. Just remember. And so, as a Patch of the Month member, you also get an awesome sticker. See? Sticker. Woohoo. And Ryan's rough sketch before they hash out the finals. So, and so he just kind of, these are kind of cool artist series. I've got all of these since they started offering them. And it's kind of cool to take and hold it next to the patch and see what changed from the original sketch to the final product. So usually it's just some details here and there. But yeah, pretty cool. No, I don't know if I'd ever own a Chris Vector though. I've held them. They're not very comfortable. Maybe shoot one sometimes. So, so there was a problem with the last podcast post. There was a box that I was supposed to check, and for some reason I missed it, even though I've checked it 238 other times. And so that's why, if you have a subscription set up through your favorite podcast client and it automatically downloads it, it didn't. So I fixed that this afternoon. And so everybody should be seeing that show up today. It's 238. 239 is going to post tonight. It should have posted over on Sunday, but I had a weekend, we'll just say. And then I was going to post it last night, and yeah, so. So yeah, anybody who's noticed issues, that it's probably a case of it just didn't update. So it wouldn't have been this week. It would have been, it posted a week ago Sunday. So it's been a little while. But
I thought you were just being a flake.
No, I know how important it is to get the podcast out every week. And I try like hell to make sure that happens. So
try harder. Check the box next time.
Right?
Or I'll come to Minnesota or wherever the hell you live and give you a smack.
How dare you insult me and say I live in Minnesota, you bastard.
Oh, where do you live?
Wisconsin. I don't live in that
different
hole. No.
You guys eat cheese and drink beer and live in the snow.
Yeah, Minnesota doesn't eat cheese, and they definitely don't drink beer.
No. They drink mini sodas?
Yep. So here's a quick question. Why doesn't Iowa have a professional football team?
Why?
Because Minnesota would want them too.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, the conversation's already awesome and good going in the chat. They're talking about Paul and Travis are talking about their new 2011 build. Sorry, not 1911, 2011. You ask what the difference is: single stack versus double stack, basically. So if you're looking at Travis and he's got that glazed over look on his face, it's because he's reading the chat and trying to figure out how he's going to be able to afford all the toys that he wants to get. So
it's a scary adventure. Travis. I'm learning. I've looked at all this. Paul Nelson is the man.
Yeah.
He sent me over an email with basically every part in there and multiple options. So I've been going over the email, looking at all the stuff, and I got kind of a list that I want. But then you start, these parts aren't cheap.
No.
So it's not something you want to order the wrong thing for. So I think I'm going to have to, before I order stuff, I'm going to have to get Paul's okay before I check out on a lot of this stuff.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I think I've got the parts somewhat picked out.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to spend that much money on something. You definitely want to make sure you talk to somebody who's experienced in it. So.
Yeah, I picked out a part. It's like the 2011 stuff is like a frame, and then a lot of them come with basically the grip and the frame are two separate pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And so the company I picked is Level 10, and they've got pretty nice looking. It's an 80%er, so you got to do a bunch of actual work on it. It's not like the polymer 80s. It's a lot of hand filing and stuff, but just the frame and the grip alone, I think, is $900 for that. Plus, you got to buy the jig, which is another $200, and then another jig, which is $80. So you're looking at about $1,000, over $1,000 just to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And I don't want to mess up and have to start over on that.
No, because you file it just wrong and it makes a mess. I've got a 1911 frame, and yeah, there's a lot. 1911 frame is a lot different than getting a Glock polymer 80 frame. So. Well, so first off, Travis,
Yes.
would you like to introduce our guest for the evening?
Yes, this is our good friend Jason Trumbo. He doesn't talk very much.
Travis, if I ever get up to Idaho, dude,
We'll have a good time.
we'll have a great time.
Yeah. So this is a good friend of the show, Miguel from Freedom Seed Brass.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Glad to have you.
So Miguel, do you want to tell us a little bit about you and Freedom Seed Brass real quick?
Sure. I guess it all starts when I got into reloading. I was introduced to reloading when I was a kid by my dad. As far back as I could remember, I've been picking up brass and watching my dad reload in the garage. Matter of fact, you can see the press that's right behind me here. He reloaded on a very similar press. Matter of fact, it's the same model. Not quite the same year though. But I didn't really get into reloading until after my military career, which spanned about 14 years. It was after that I really came into my own as a reloader, and that just fed my passion for shooting and reloading altogether. So it's been probably about a good 5-6 years when I really started reloading, which just fed into Freedom Seed Brass being launched. So that's kind of where it all started as a kid, dad reloading.
Nice. So I guess we should see what everybody did this week.
Something like that.
Did you do anything, Mike?
I did. Went shopping.
Shopping for?
And some of this stuff. And then some of this stuff. So, no guns this week, but, I got that.
Well, you gotta feed those.
I got 35 rem, so I had to come up with some powder for it. And then, so slowly but surely we're working on that. I got to get dyes for it yet. And then one of our listeners, Carl, said that he has some. Carl K, as a matter of fact, has some 35 brass that he's gonna send off to me. So, and he should be getting the Dillon this week. It's had a couple things I wanted to do with it yet before we shipped it off, and then so I finally got it packaged up, and he should be getting that this week. So then we'll get some pictures of him with his press once he gets it set up. So that's fun. That's about all I did. Otherwise, that it was kind of a busy family week. So, Jason.
Yes, sir. Well, I opened a package I got from the NRA quite a while ago. I just set it on my desk and I never opened it. So I opened it this week. And it's a flag, and it's a pretty cool flag. The package that it was in, it says made in China. And I'm thinking, whatever, NRA, why don't you get some?
That's normal for them.
And then they called me and asked for some donations. So I threw them a little bit of money. And I think they're going to send me a pocket knife or something, but I expect it to be China made too, which is kind of sad. I'm a pocket knife aficionado. I like good pocket knives. So if it's junk when I get it, I'll toss it. Kind of sad. I really have high hopes for the NRA eventually growing up and being a real community minded, but they are not. Not yet. That's it for me. How about you, Trav?
So, excuse me. So this week I kind of had a bunch of stuff going on. But last week I went down to Utah and I got to hang out with Full Ed Taco. So I got to go hang out with him and cast up some projectiles and just BS with him for most of the day.
Who else did you hang out with?
Then, what's that?
I said, who else did you hang out with, you bum?
So I hung out with Taco the first day, and then the next day we had so much fun. We kind of got up early and hung out in the morning, and then in the afternoon I went over to Jason Christensen at Concealment Solutions, and I had to make, I don't know where I put it. I had to make a pretty nice holster for my son's 3-gun setup, and the gun dudes came over, and we ended up doing just a short microcast for the SX3 podcast. But it was pretty fun hanging out with those guys.
Oh, so you're cheating on us now.
Well, there was
I
candy
always knew you were
involved.
around.
They had donuts and
Oh, that'll get you every time.
but no, Taco, I really liked hanging out with him. So we kind of made some plans that we'll have to get together again and do some video and stuff for the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. That's in the future plans. So
Yeah. So since we had a late arrival, did you do anything this week, Jim?
Yeah, I did. Got some more progress on my bench. And I just come back from the monthly meeting of the Sand Lee Gun Club. It starts at 7:30. Yeah, and I got out of there about 5 till. So it's the travel time between here and the house, or there. That's why I'm late. Looks like it's going to be a recurring thing every first Tuesday every month.
nice. It's important to get involved in your local gun clubs, because if you're not at the meetings, you can't help shape policy, and they come up with stupid rules like you can't use a range if there's not 500 RSOs. So.
Yeah, tomorrow, our club meeting is tomorrow. And I'm excited to go because we're doing some first aid certification stuff. So I'm already certified at all this, but I want to go back just because I like it. We got
Hey,
a donation.
Sorry, Travis. Go ahead.
we got a donation for a AED setup, and so I think we're gonna do some CPR and go over the AED stuff, and
Very nice.
hopefully we got a nice first aid kit out of this too. But yeah, you got to get involved with your club, otherwise you don't get what you want, and it's kind of a waste.
Well, I think the idea of a good first aid kit, I mean, around a gun club, I mean, think about gunshot wounds, accidental or otherwise. Gunshot wounds, I would think you'd need to be prepared at a gun club. Yes, I realize it's more likely to happen in a bank than it is at a gun club, but the point is there are guns there being discharged.
Well, the problem is you can have the best first aid kit, but if you don't know how to use it, you might as well have nothing.
Yep, I don't disagree.
That's why I'd like to see a bunch of guys at our meeting tomorrow, but you never know because turnout's not what you really hope sometimes.
Yeah, I saw that tonight. A lot of folks didn't turn out for the March meeting. But no, the only thing physically I got done was more work on my bench. I got all the brackets up tonight. Finished off. I had 6 more brackets put up. So I got them all finished up. And next is put my shelves on or put down the surface, working surface. I told you guys about the plastic diamond plate I bought, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I wound up getting stuck with that, so I'm going to use it.
Oh, I just got an email from my gun club as we were talking about him.
Good. We got a newcomer among us, Mike. What's going on?
That is our guest for the evening. If you'd have showed up on time, you'd have known that, you bum.
Well, I was at a gun club meeting, so I have an excuse.
Hi, Jim. I'm Miguel.
Hey, hola, Miguel.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, gracias.
So, Miguel, what did you do this week in guns?
You know what? I didn't do anything with any of my guns, but I did process a ton of 9mm brass. It's my most popular brass. So I hand inspect all my brass. It's, as we all know, it's a tedious and time-consuming process. Even more so when you have a business. So I, clean them a couple of times, case gauge every one of them before they get packaged. Because I sell brass that's just ready to load, and most of my customers are people who are very busy and want to just get brass that's ready to load so they can get out to the range and train.
Do you decap your brass, Miguel?
Do I decap my brass? Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I talk to Miguel quite often, and I'm pretty convinced he's got severe OCD. So Miguel handles every single piece of brass. He inspects it all by hand, every piece. He tumbles it all in some walnut media to clean it off before he runs it through any of his stuff. He decaps it all by hand, and you can probably see if you're watching the video, you can see there's an RCBS press in the back. He pretty much runs every piece of brass through either a single stage or he has ran it through well, why don't you tell us, Miguel, how severe OCD you are on this stuff?
You're not the first one to accuse me of that. I think a lot of people that work with me closely on a day-to-day basis would probably agree with you. The Freedom Seed brass, I actually started on a single press, much like this one. It was actually my dad's. That's all we had. And I told my dad, hey, I want to start this business. I love processing brass. I'm kind of weird that way. But I just, right? Jim's laughing. I get that reaction every time. I consider it a challenge because, transitioning from a hobby over to a business, really challenges you in how to process large amounts of brass with some basic equipment. So I've been pretty successful with it so far. Eventually I'll have to upgrade, which will be a good problem to have. But going on to the OCD that Travis likes to mention, it's just I I go through every piece of brass. I go through the walnut media first. It gets all the oils out, and it allows me to look at them, and then after that I decap them. Then I run them through my die. Going through the walnut media first helps the longevity of my dies. I use several Lee dies are very good for my resizing. I case gauge them in EGW case gauges, and you should see my pile that doesn't ever make it to my into the package. I look at them. If there's still some little, speck of dirt on them, they get tossed over to what I call my blemish pile, which pretty soon I'll put on the website at a lower price for people that want to do that. But functionality is not sacrificed with those. It's just they didn't pass my visual inspection because I'm accumulating quite a bit of them. So yeah, just run them through and get after it. I get up early in the morning or late at night, process, especially on the days that I work. I don't know if you guys know, Travis knows, I'm a full-time paramedic in a busy 911 system. So I do
so
that.
this is one of the things I really liked about Miguel is he's a 14-year vet, and he's also a paramedic. Every time I text him, he's out there saving lives.
All right, then. Travis, I appreciate that. I've been fortunate enough to save a few lives in my career, but a lot of for those of you that don't know EMS, saving lives is few and far in between. It's great when you're able to, but it doesn't happen on a day-to-day basis, at least not for on my individual basis. But it is very gratifying when it happens. There are sometimes some months that I have where that does not occur, but we try our best.
Well, speaking for myself, you're among friends. I see you got an Army Airborne patch up in the upper corner of your screen or your image. So go Army. I'm a veteran myself, retiree actually, Air Force retiree.
Oh, awesome! Thank you for your service, man.
Thank you for serving, younger brother. That guy in the yellow shirt and the fuzzy face, he's also a Navy veteran.
Nice.
Yeah, you, Jason, you bum. How you doing, you dog? Unmute your microphone and talk to me.
I was concerned when you didn't make the podcast. I thought maybe you had another accident on your mobility scooter.
Well, I was going to ask if a majority of the people Miguel sees looks like Jim.
No, most of them look livelier.
That was mean. Of course, you took some licks before you unmuted your microphone. You and your painted shirt.
Oh, good grief.
Well.
So, Miguel, what calibers do you offer currently for brass?
Currently, 9mm Luger, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45 ACP, and a mixture of 223, 556.
Okay.
They're all mixed head stamp, all processed, ready to load.
Okay.
Free shipping in the U.S.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I've got a link for your site in the show notes, and I also went and grabbed a link for EGW chamber checkers. The thing that impresses me is, unlike some of the other companies that just use a boring bar of a certain diameter, they actually use climber reamers, which are the same reamers you use for making a chamber.
That is exactly why I use them.
So that's pretty impressive. You know when you're using that as a checker that it's going to be accurate.
That is true. That is exactly why I use those case gauges. I do use Dillon as a backup.
Yep.
Because the EGW case gauges have such tight tolerances When one slightly maybe goes in a little tight, I'll run it into Dylan, and if it passes my Dylan, then it'll go in my go box where they eventually get packaged. But if they don't pass those two, they always go through EGW first, and then Dylan. But the resizing dies that I use are very good, and so far, I'd say about 99% of my my size brass will pass through EGW with no problem.
Are the EGW gauges the ones that they also sell with the cutaway so you can see inside?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm gonna grab them. They're off camera here.
Who makes the gauges that they're cut on they basically have half of it cut away so you can see inside of them?
I don't know
You
if
guys know?
Not sure.
I don't know if you guys can pan that.
There you go. So,
That's the 223. This is my 45, 50 hole.
uh-huh.
Very solid. I love their stuff.
So are you looking at adding any other sizes in the future for brass, or is that pretty much kind of?
No, I am. I'm actually talking to a few suppliers for the 308 Winchester, just
Okay.
because it is the one that gets me emails the most. Like emails, I'm pretty active on Instagram, so a lot of people get in touch with me through Instagram at Freedom Seed Brass, and they ask about the 308 constantly. I haven't put it up yet because I haven't found a reliable supplier. But once I do, I'll do some more research and I'll do some test runs. Before I add any brass to my catalog, I always, go through the process of reload and reload it and then go shoot it. Part of my QC process for the brass that I currently have, I'll just take a random package. I don't know if you guys can see a package like the one that's over on the other side of my shoulder here. I'll just grab a random one at a random time. I'll pop it open and I'll reload it, and it kind of just keeps me honest. That way, it keeps me, from losing track of the quality control that I started out the company with. I'm not a very old company. I started it mid-July of last year. So yeah, the 308 Winchester is probably going to be my next one once I get a good supplier. Another thing that's going on with my company is I'm proud to say that I'm now sponsoring 3 competitive shooters. That's new for 2019 for my company. They're great. One of them is a 14-year-old girl. Her name is Stephanie Deco. Another one is John Lewis and Eric Jensen, all great competitive shooters, all reloaders. So I'm pretty excited about 2019.
Excellent.
Nice.
That's nice that you're able to sponsor shooters too.
Yeah.
Very nice. Hey, Miguel, if you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
I'm 39.
Well, when you grow up, you might start enjoying revolver calibers like 357 and 44 Magnum and 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. If you want to start carrying those, I might be tempted to purchase from you. Just saying.
I hear you. I hear you. Believe me, I all those rounds, and some that you didn't mention are ones I would love to add, but that would require me to scale up. But eventually, I'll get there. Like I said, I'm a very new business.
Right. Yeah.
As I grow, I'll add what I see demand is, and just keep growing the company, and adding more to the catalog. I'd love to do it.
Okay.
Excellent.
Miguel, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
It might be better off to hook them. You might want to cut this part out. Anyway, would you be interested in using GI, government issue brass, that's probably been fired in a machine gun in the way of 7.62 caliber? Just, I'm not going to give you any more details than that. Just yes or no.
GI, say that again.
Government
GI.
issue 7.62 brass, probably fired in a machine gun.
As to add to my catalog and process
Yeah,
it?
I know a supplier that could probably supply you with barrels of it.
It's definitely something I'd like to look into for sure. I'd have
Okay.
to get the, honestly, I'd probably get a sample size, take a look at that brass, go through the process, and then go from there. If
Okay.
that all turns out well, then we can talk further about buying in quantities and then putting it on the catalog. But absolutely, I'd love to get a small sample size so that I can go through my regular process, put them through their paces, go out and shoot it. And if I believe that they're good enough, I'll add them to the catalog. But for sure.
Okay. All right. I'll put you in touch with. I'll get your email address either after off the air or whatever, however you want to do it.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Excellent. So Miguel,
Yes.
what's your favorite caliber to shoot?
Ooh. I think the better question is what calibers? Well, pistol. It's a toss-up between 9mm and 45. I love them both.
At least you didn't say 40. Ooh.
Oh, shut up. Got to be 40.
I do reload some 40 because my brother's a law enforcement officer. So I reload for him just a few rounds here and there. So he, I'm a big guy. I'm a big advocate of reloading and training. That's just been my take on reloading since I was a kid. It's why I got to shoot a lot because my dad reloaded like crazy, and that allowed me to shoot and train as a consequence. So, but yeah, toss up between 9mm, 45. Definitely 9mm is what I focus on lately. I like the 124 grain. Use tight group, CCI primers. Pretty easy to get and source. Consumables. So, rifle. That one's 223, 5.56. Shot it quite a bit in the military, but I also love the 308, 30-06. I like a lot of them, man. It's really hard to just kind of get down to one. I appreciate a lot of different calibers and what their capabilities are, and I actually like to push the limits on some of those and see what they can do.
Well, let me ask you this then. Which do you prefer in the way of actually trying to, see how well you can shoot? You prefer the flow-through guns or you prefer the bolt guns?
Given my military background, I like ARs, so I like to shoot 223. I'm by no means a precision shooter. I'm what you probably consider just a practical shooter. So yeah, but I also like the bolt guns, because I'm a hunter. I've hunted deer, hog, bear. So when the time comes to go do some of that kind of hunting, I'm carrying 300 Weatherby mag, 300 Win mag, 7mm Remington mag, all those. Love all those calibers. 30-06. So I can't really pin down a favorite of those. I like challenging myself with bolt guns and weapons like the M4 or AR. So
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hey, Miguel just reminded me of something. I had this sitting next to me the whole time, and I forgot. What I did this week is I picked up my dad's. Jason, can you tell me what this is? Nope. Okay, so I picked up my dad's Model 94 3030.
Nice.
Yeah, there's something about these old guns that they seem to kind of have a soul, I think.
What do you mean you picked up your dad's gun? You bought it from him?
No. What's his is mine, right? It's gonna,
What's he going to
sure I'm sure if Phil was here, he would know exactly what I'm talking about.
use? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I got this from my dad. I'm gonna start reloading some 30-30 rounds for us. But I picked it up and sat here and looked at it, and you hold it, and there's just something about these old guns that just, I mean, I'm really into the semi-autos and stuff like that, but there's just something about these old Model 94s at least. I don't know how many deer this thing has taken, but there's just something about this old rifle here. So anyway,
Yep. My wife loves.
I just had it sitting next to me, and I completely forgot it was sitting there. So
What'd you say, Jason?
My wife loves shooting a 30-30 lever gun. Just there's something about it. Just she just loves it.
There's something about
Jason,
leather-
have you cast any projectiles and loaded up for the 30-30?
Yeah, 170 grain is what I was casting for it.
Okay, that's what I picked up. I got 173 grain NOE mold. I was gonna try using for it.
Mm-hmm. And then I had really good luck with. Sorry, I'm going to try to do this from memory, which may not work. IMR 4227.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
I actually got that from Gerald Beatty.
Yeah.
Is that the name?
Gerald Beatty out of Indiana.
Yeah, I got that recipe from him. And it really, really worked good. And it's enjoyable to shoot. Like I said, my wife loves to shoot it. Yeah, and there's something about a lever gun that just makes people happy.
Yep. Sorry. Playing with the show notes and it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay. So, Miguel, anything else you'd like to share about Freedom Seed Brass?
Sure. Anyone out there that will potentially buy from me, I want them to know that anytime they buy a package, I do add 2% extra free in each one of them. That's just, as a reloader, sometimes you mess up a couple of cases, or maybe you want to do some quick load development before you put them in through your progressive. So I add those for that, and also the chance that I missed something, a damaged case that I am human. I may miss one that I may have damaged, or may not be something that you reload. So I add that extra, because as a reloader, I understand having those extra few is helpful. I also have a promo code for any of your listeners. So I don't know if you want to write this one down. For listeners of the Reloading Podcast, they'll get a 20% off their first purchase if they use promo code Reloading Podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
How about on the second purchase? Do we get like 50% off or what?
No. He charges you an extra 15%, Jason.
No. Work with me, Miguel. Come on.
Just you, Jason.
Personally, just me.
Yeah. Just you. You're the only one that gets charged that extra 15%. Everybody else gets it at normal price.
Oh man. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. And
No problem. I understand that there's a lot of other companies that may do what I do, but I'm just, I just love doing it. I love the tediousness of it. I love getting a whole bunch of brass ready to go, ready to load. It's actually what led me to the business is getting ready to load brass into busy people's hands, especially my customers who are competitive shooters. Is probably the least liked part of reloading. So if they buy my product, they get right to the fun stuff, and then they get to go shoot.
indeed, there's something to be said for having pre-sized brass. All right.
Miguel, do you charge shipping, or is that included in the price?
I do free shipping in the U.S.
Okay. Because just looking at your numbers here, they seem extremely reasonable. Of course, I've seen a lot of crap happen over the years, and prices just go through the roof and whatnot. But just looking at your numbers here, it's like, well, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I believe I offer a competitive price point for reloaders. One of the things that I had in mind when I started Freedom Seed Brass was I didn't want to lose sight of the reloader, especially the budget-minded reloader, because people are busy. Everybody's busy, work or whatever you got going on in your life. But reloading is something that a lot of people like to do, but the one part that they don't like to do is process it. But I didn't want to charge so much that a reloader wouldn't, no one would buy the product. No one would, if I just went too high, no one would buy it. And then I wouldn't even have a business at that point. So I do price competitively. I believe I do research about every week to make sure that I'm where I need to be as far as price point goes. I just don't ever forget the budget-minded reloader. Again, I'll say it again and again. Reload and train to succeed. That's been my whole philosophy as a reloader. I'm a big advocate of getting out there and training with whatever ammo you reload. Because ultimately that's, for me, my vision was always to get people into reloading, keep people reloading, but ultimately so they can get out to the range and train.
You betcha. Do you have a discount for bulk buys or anything like that? Or is the price the price?
The price is the price right now.
Okay. So if I wanted to say a pallet full of 40, because who would want to shoot 9? I couldn't get a discount past what you are posting right now.
As of right now, no.
Okay.
But if you DM me and we talk, and depending on what we're talking about, I might do a one-on-one thing because at that point we start getting into the commercial type size orders.
Okay.
And right now that would be because I'm pretty much a one-man show. My dad does help me at this point. He helps me pull the lever. But at this point, my capabilities are only so much. So if you're out ordering a pallet, for my small company, for my sales at this point, we'd have to definitely talk. And I can do it. I would just have to scale up and know what time frame you're looking at and how much you're actually wanting. But
Okay.
at this point, that's where we're
Jason,
at.
that's one of the
Yeah.
most disgusting things I've ever heard you say.
What are you talking about?
A pallet of 40 brass.
It's a beautiful
Brass
thing,
is-
Travis.
Is brass your scrapyard paying premium for brass in California? What's going on?
Well, I like to shoot 40. It's interesting.
I mean,
I'm
if you're
not
needing
much of a
40
9
brass,
millimeter
I've
guy.
I've got 5-gallon buckets of this stuff that I just don't even want to touch it. I'm sure
No.
we can work something out if you want some
About
40 brass.
45 ACP large primer.
Yeah, I got some of that, but I'm going to keep that for when I do get me a new pistol.
Oh,
the
you're
40
being a dick now.
I'm saving up because I got this pothole in front of my house. I was going to pour all that 40 brass in there as a filler. But if you need some, I'll send you some.
Well, actually, wasn't even interested in 40. I was going to work him into 357 and 44 Magnum because that's mostly what I shoot. But I was just trying to get the prices like fixed, and then I'd go, "Okay, dude, now we need some real revolver
You're
brass
trying to
here."
pull the old switcheroo on him.
Yeah, that's all. He's just a wet behind the ears pup. He's 39 years old. He doesn't know nothing.
Guess what, Jason? That pallet price just went up.
Oh shit! Did I just screw myself?
I think you just screwed yourself, Jason.
Damn it! I
Shut
always
yourself.
do
You
that.
didn't hit mute.
Sorry, Miguel.
Like hell you are.
Hey, Jason, you know us veterans, man. We have tough skin, so
You bet.
You better have.
Miguel,
I'm
just
I'm
keep
no
an eye
stranger.
out for some
I'm no
orders.
stranger to smack talk.
Yeah, just keep an eye out for some orders coming from Jason, and just make sure you do something to that.
Count your fingers when you're done, Miguel.
Matter of fact, speaking of 40, I just had a couple orders for 40 today. So
Did you?
if that customer happens to be listening to the podcast, they'll be shipped out tomorrow.
Is his name Mark Hookham?
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
We were going to take and tell you put some mercury in there.
Poison it.
Brass. Poison the brass.
Oh man.
Because Hookham does everything to his brass except swallow it.
Ew.
And then maybe sometimes.
All right. Jason, let's calm down.
We're
Okay.
trying to keep this
Hookham
family
edits are a
friendly.
show. Hookham edits are a show, remember?
Oh yeah. He does.
And I
doesn't
think after this episode, we will never have known about Jason. Will be just removed from the podcast.
I won't exist.
Hookham ain't saying nothing.
My Nevada amigo is picking on me for shooting 40.
Well, one of my favorite cartridges is today's cartridge corner.
Nice segue. Jason, you use 30 round magazines?
Yeah, Hookham. So to answer your question, I have them all. That's all.
Well, that was a good segue, Travis. The cartridge corner for today is one of my least favorite calibers. But yeah,
Hold on. Time out.
okay, I'm out.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted, for crying out loud. We have another question
Oh, okay.
before we go to the cartridge corner, and it comes back to 44. And it's from somebody who's in the chat right now.
Okay.
So, question came in via email from Hoghead69. He says, "Hello all, loading 44 mag, and I'm needing some peace of mind with a question that's bugging me. Book says shot out of an 8-inch barrel should be 1340 FPS. When I shoot out of a Henry 18-inch big boy, I get 1560 feet per second. I fully understand faster velocity for barrel length, but my question is, does it change pressure, or is pressure consistent with lead data? It should be load data, no matter barrel length. So, who
Would your
wants to answer?
pressure increase with increased barrel length?
Well, does it increase or decrease?
I'm gonna say no.
I'm going to agree. Just because the barrel's longer isn't going to increase or decrease pressure.
It's
It's the
the
size of the chamber
yeah.
and the distance between the bullet and the throat that's going to affect that more than anything.
Well, the fact of the matter is, you're both correct. I agree with you both. But there is one point you kind of overlooked, and that is that the fact that the pressure will be sustained longer, which
Yeah.
gives you higher velocity.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at ignition time is when your
Right.
pressure would spike, right?
Right.
Correct. I'm agreeing with you both. I agree with you
Well,
both on that.
That scares me, Jim. I don't like it.
Okay.
Jason, what the hell did we do?
Unleashed a monster, didn't you?
Oh, there goes the neighborhood.
Anyway.
We should have just let him do cartridge corner. Everything had been fine.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
All right.
Questions are important.
Jim.
Oh, you mean I got to switch tabs?
Yes.
Excuse me for clearing my throat with an
I am
unmuted mic.
purposely not doing the sound effect this evening in honor of the cartridge.
Aha, okay. That's kind of a cute point.
Uh-huh.
Tonight's cartridge is a cartridge that was actually designed to be run with heavy bullets and subsonic ammunition. In subsonic ammunition. The 300 AAC Blackout. It was developed by Advanced Armament Corporation for use in the M4 carbine. The 300 Blackout, designated as the 300 BLK by SAMI and 300 AAC Blackout by the CIP, also known as 7.62 by 35, is a carbine cartridge developed in the United States for use in the M4 carbine, as I said. Its purpose is to achieve ballistics similar to the 7.62 by 39 cartridge in an AR-15 while using standard AR-15 magazines at their normal capacities. Care should be taken not to use 300 BLK ammo in a rifle chambered for 7.62 by 40 millimeter Wilson Tactical. That would be a bad thing. That would, in other words, your cases would stretch like hell.
Yes, indeed. Also known as a couple of the guys that are mentioning in the chat, 300 Whisper.
Yep. The history of the cartridge. While the 5.56 by 45 NATO has enjoyed widespread acceptance in military circles, the nature of the missions encountered by some of the spec ops groups often demand a round that provides better performance than that available in the high-energy standard velocity rounds and subsonic performance greater than standard 9mm. The ubiquitous round also commonly used in many submachine guns. To satisfy this need, the AAC developed the 300 AAC Blackout in cooperation with Remington Defense under the direction of the AAC's Research and Development Director, Robert Silvers, with the support of the company's founder, Kevin Brittingham. Meeting these goals allowed the development team to negate many of the perceived drawbacks inherent to other large calibers used in the M4. Colt Firearms and other makers had previously chambered AR pattern rifles and carbines in various 30 caliber rounds, but encountered problems. In the case of the 7.62 by 39, its relatively severe case angle caused feeding issues unless specially modified AK magazines were used. and even then, the results were unsatisfactory. Modified bolts were also needed owing to its larger case head diameter. Rounds such as the 6.8 SPC and the 6.5 Grendel had similar part interchangeability issues, but did allow for the use of the standard M4 M16 30-round magazine, albeit with a reduced capacity. Okay, there's more here, but Mike's going to put that in the show notes. I don't want to read overstay my welcome, shall we say. There's a lot of material here, and I know that I'm not the best reader in the world. The specs are included as usual, Mikey.
Yep. Indeed.
The 300 AAC Blackout, it's supposed to be a good enough cartridge to use for deer hunting. It's almost comparable to the, well, like I said, the 7.62 by 39 round. But the other thing is too, it's a little milder than the 30-30 Winchester. Kind of interesting and coincidental, being that Travis had a 94 on screen a few minutes ago. The 94, of course, is chambered in that particular 94 is chambered in the 30-30 Winchester centerfire cartridge, WCF.
30-30 Blackout, the new caliber.
Yay! Thanks for catching my screw up, Jason.
We need to invent something new. Travis, I forgot to tell you, but when you were showing off your 30-30, somebody asked what year that was. Do you know?
Well, then I asked if it was the last two numbers in the serial number, or how do you tell what the year is?
Shoot, I don't remember now.
I've got a thing. I just haven't downloaded it. It is Winchester's History of the Winchester, Historic Serial Number Records. I got to download that, and then I can figure out. I just didn't want to do it while I was on the podcast.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
And plus, I'll probably tell you what the serial number is, Mike, and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, that's the shitty year."
Well, of course it is.
And I'll look even dumber than I already do. They'll be like, "Oh, that's the stupid one right there when everything went to hell."
They issued all those to Idaho.
Dang nabbit. Right? So. Travis, I'm going to put in the show notes a link that's easier for you to figure out.
Okay.
So that'll help you figure it out. There's, that's the nice thing is there's a lot of resources out there. So, Jim, we have a request for 44 special in the cartridge corner from Wild Turkey.
Thank you. I'll put it in the list. So that's 44 special, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one is 1973.
Nice.
Cool.
I'll put that link in the show notes too for somebody else. It's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was super easy.
Yeah. That was kind of the nice thing about when I went to check with that the Remington Historical Group or whatever it is really easy for being able to figure that stuff out too.
Yeah, one day they'll be able to turn Jim over, look on his backside, and get his serial number off there and put in something like that and figure out. We'll pin down exactly how old Jim is.
No, he wouldn't sit still long enough while they were trying to chisel it in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little tougher than that.
Besides, they were probably just pictures back then. Just hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphics. Hey, speaking of, we've kind of come full circle with the emojis.
Yeah.
Aren't people going to be messed up in 400 years or 1,000 years when look at all the crap we threw around and go, wait, they did what in how many thousand years? More proof, history repeats itself.
Yeah, and those who don't learn from their mistakes are doomed to repeat history.
Correct. That's why we kind of starting to look like the Roman Empire of the
Yeah, really.
100 and 200 AD. So, Jared thought that your serial number might be worn off, Jim. All right, we have a review from Proud Texan 556. There's an awesome name. This is from iTunes. And 5 stars. Thank you very much. Best reloading podcast. Awesome. This is the best reloading podcast. This is the best reloading podcast I've come across. From the basics to advanced troubleshooting to casting, they cover just about all of it. It's like hanging around the reloading bench with a bunch of reloading buddies. Family friendly buddies. Yeah, a great group of podcats. The only thing you will have to get past is they will read the instructions first rather than screwing up and then reading the instructions. Yeah, that's kind of our downfall. But we want to make sure that other people don't necessarily do that because, as we've said before, there's a lot of stuff in this hobby that's kind of dangerous. So we make sure we keep people safe.
Well, we don't tell people about our screw-ups that we went back and read the directions. We don't tell them about that.
That never occurs on camera. So
Exactly.
Jim Alexander Romero says your serial number is 0000001.
Well, I'm the first of the kind. Don't you know that?
they literally broke the mold. They were, shh, Nikes, we screwed up.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate that. I'm one of a kind.
Thank God.
Hey, Jim, I was going to mention on the cartridge corner, like I was mentioning, I went and did some casting with Full Lead Taco.
Mhm.
He designed an NOE mold for the 300 blackout projectile.
Yes.
I think they call it the Taco Edition. And I cast up a whole pile of those. And if anyone's interested, you should go over and check out the NOE molds and see if you can find the 230 grain Taco Edition mold.
Is it a spire point or round nose?
It's a Spire Point.
Oh, I'm sorry. Spitzer.
Sorry,
I did say Spitzer. Spire. I meant Spitzer.
Yeah,
Like-
I'll actually, let me grab one. Maybe the camera can pick it up too.
Okay.
It's very similar to the Lee 230 grain, but there is some little profile differences on there, and it actually looks quite a bit different, quite a bit better, I mean.
And while he's doing that, we'll conversate about nothing.
Make
Miguel.
hope money's pay.
Miguel, do you have YouTube open?
I don't.
Okay. If you have the ability, there's also a chat going on our recording. And just so you know, Christina Bruce said, "Hey Miguel, looking forward to buying and reloading your brass one day."
Okay. Thank you, Christina.
Travis,
So-
speak up so the camera will focus on you.
Yeah, so can you see that?
Now, show me the point of the bullet, if you can. That ought to feed well in any semi-automatic.
Yeah, and he's got two versions. This one is the one that he just had sitting there, and it is a tumble lube.
Right?
So I know you haven't cast for it, Jim, but the Lees, the base on the Lee is crap, what do you call it? It's kind of it's got an angle here, angles in, so it's
Bevel base.
bevel base, yes. This one does not, it's more flat.
Yeah, it's square base.
Yep.
It's not set up for gas check.
Yep.
I see
The
Travis, I see
230
a
Lee
few-
is not, go ahead.
excuse me. Hold that bullet back up, please. I got some critiquing to do. Roll that around so we can see those cold mold wrinkles. Yes, Travis, your cold mold wrinkles.
Where? Show me. Where?
They're in the micro grooves. You roll it around. Come on, don't hide it. There,
Okay,
right there.
Okay,
Right
I
there
see
by the
that right
seam.
there.
Cold mold micro grooves. Shame on you.
No wonder why you powder coat. You're trying to
Oh,
you're trying to hide the fact that you
That-
cannot
that-
catch lead bullets.
So you guys know too, that is Jim's favorite emoji also.
oh my God. Oh, Travis, you just let yourself in for a whole lot of harassment about your powder coating.
Okay, so let me my fingers are getting numb just holding this one here.
I wonder why.
But
Your
here's
throat's too damn cold. Okay, so what you got there? 40? Look at that. It's a nice cone shape.
truncated cone 40, and it's not focusing.
There you go. Finally focusing. Slowly.
Okay, let me roll this one for you, Jim, so you can see.
I think somebody else must have cast that. Oh, it's got a big old knot on the sprue. Look at the bottom of the sprue. I see a big old knot on it. The mold plate must have gotten loose.
Hey, mine could be all frosted and have all kinds of imperfections, but at least I'm getting out there doing some, Jim.
Ooh, getting a little testy, are we?
Ooh, he
Getting a little testy, are we?
Can we get some burn ointment to North Carolina, please?
Oh, I ain't worried about
North
that. I
Carolina.
can take it. I've been taking that shit for a year. Year and a half now. Shame on me. I've been taking it from Hookham for a long time.
Ooh, we need to. I want that sound bite right there. Jim just said he has been
I've been
taking
taking
it from
harassment
Hookham
from Hookham
for over a year now.
for over a year and a half. I've been taking harassment from Hookham.
Oh,
That's not what you said.
That's true. It's not what I said. Oh,
that went downhill fast.
yes, it did. Anyway, Miguel, we try to take and make this a G-rated show.
It doesn't always work, right? But
It usually winds up becoming X-rated or at least R13, R18.
No, it's never X-rated.
It's all right. I've actually watched quite a bit of the live streams.
Yeah, he comes and hangs out in the chat all the time.
oh, does
Oh, yeah?
he?
Yes, you should pay more attention, Jason.
We're gonna have to abuse him. I pay attention.
We don't abuse the guests, even if they stop by the chat, you putz.
Yes, we do.
Ugh. Anyway,
What's your handle on the YouTube? Is it Freedom Seed? or-
amazingly enough, it's Freedom
Yep.
Seedgrass, Jason.
Yep. Believe it or not, it's Freedom Seed Brass.
Oh, there it is right now.
Thanks, John. I appreciate that, buddy.
Never noticed that before.
We got North Carolinian in there, John Atkinson.
Oh my goodness. It went south quick. Hey, it's all balmy 46 degrees in the garage. Woohoo! And 6 degrees outside. Yes.
You must have turned the heater on early.
Yeah. Well, actually, when I went to leave for work this morning, it was 32 degrees. So at least it's staying above freezing in the garage. So I got that going for me. But at any rate, Miguel, we seriously thank you for everything. We thank you for the brass that you donated for the Dylan giveaway and everything else. We thank you for coming on and sharing some time with us. So
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I want to give a special thanks to Travis. He's the one who first got in contact with me through Instagram. We've been chatting for several months now, and I was happy to do the giveaway with you guys. And I come on as much as I can on your live stream, but I listen to the podcast. I happen to work on Tuesday evenings. I actually took today off to be on the podcast. And
Wow.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem. It was my pleasure. It was, and it's actually my debut on a podcast. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Awesome. And you're definitely welcome back anytime you can. So
Thank you.
I apologize that your debut had to be with all of us.
yeah, exactly. We do apologize for that. So
No apologies needed. You guys are great. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on. And, I probably sounded a little bit robotic, but I had to start somewhere, and I really appreciate the opportunity, guys. Keep doing what you guys are doing.
Definitely more than welcome. And make sure you keep us updated when you do add 308 so we can share that.
Absolutely. People are definitely requesting it. People are searching it on my website.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see the demand.
Yep.
And I'll add it as soon as I can, and I'll keep you guys posted.
Miguel, do you have a public email address that you can put on the air?
Yes. If you guys want to get a hold of me, support@freedomseedbrass.com.
Yay. That's what I'll use to get in touch with the other person I'm talking about, Jeff, Miguel.
Yep, no problem. We'll definitely get a hold of me. We'll probably get on the phone at some point and go from there.
Well, I'm just going to be the introduced guy. You do your business with him.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. My pleasure, sir. Trust me, it's my pleasure.
Sure.
Well, we want to take time to thank everybody who tunes in on the live stream. Take time to thank everybody who sends us emails. That's reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. We want to thank everybody who thank everybody who sends us a text or leaves us a voicemail at 608-467-0308. I want to thank everybody who stops by Reloading Podcast group and joins up, or stops by the Reloading Podcast page and says hi, sends us questions, comments, gives us crap. We appreciate it. We've got an Instagram page, which I really don't do enough with, and part of that's time, part of that's I don't really have a lot of stuff to post as a general rule, but because I don't take I forget to take pictures, so I'm working on getting better with that. But yeah, really appreciate it. See, I need to learn how to use Instagram from Travis, because Buckeye has a pretty amazing and prolific Instagram page. So,
Well, I'm the same way though. I forget. I always do something cool,
yeah,
and then I'm like, "Oh crap! I forgot to take a picture of that." But that's where I met Miguel. Was I don't know how I came across his Instagram page, but I kept seeing. I seen a really cool picture, and then I just went in and looked at all the other pictures he had on there. And he takes some really, really cool pictures of his process and just random pictures of cool stuff. And we've been talking. He's got some cool stuff that he's going to be doing on Instagram. And I suggest people go over there and check out his Instagram, because that's what brought me into getting in contact with him, is I liked what I seen over there.
I'll make sure I put a link to his Instagram.
We'll put one to mine too.
Yep.
Thanks, Travis. I appreciate it. That's where I'm the most active, is Instagram. I try and post quite often there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mention it if you like it or not. He's been talking about doing, which I think is a really cool idea. It's kind of like our cartridge corner. He's going to be doing some like 1 minute long videos of reloading stuff. And I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Travis. Yeah, it's actually the bench that you see here is the studio for my 1 minute reloading instructional videos, and keep it real basic. I decided to do that after being asked multiple times to show some instructional videos on the type of reloading that I do. So, and I'm going to tailor it towards Instagram, keep them a minute long, and just go from there. I'm actually in the middle of working some of those videos, so hopefully they'll be out pretty soon.
Awesome. Look forward to it. So
I'm excited. I'm not knowing how to do video instructions. It's been a sharp learning curve on lighting and camera angles, and so I won't put anything out there that isn't quality. So it's probably why I've taken so long to introduce those videos, because I want to do it right, and I want people to get a good visual quality as well as good instructional quality.
absolutely. All right. So, yeah, just thank everybody that contributes. And I definitely want to thank the Patreons. I greatly appreciate everybody. We had another new one in the last week or so. So remember to check the show notes for the new Patreons. It's awesome. Grateful. And Miguel, if you want to throw a tagline in as we do our sign off, you're more than welcome. Or if you just want to sit there and laugh at us all, you can do that too.
No,
Miguel, you know what I suggest you use as your tagline, right?
You talking to me, Travis?
Yeah, you know what it's right above your head, your tagline.
Oh, you talking about the white letters?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's the catchphrase to the logo. It's a little edgy, but I actually have a different tagline.
Okay, I'm gonna steal yours then.
Fair
I
enough.
like yours better than mine.
Go ahead, man. Take it.
Well, too bad. I'm going to swipe it because it fits perfect with mine. So,
Well, you are in charge, Mike, so I'll let you have whatever you need.
anyway, so as I always say, keep your brass shiny because, as Miguel says, it's a beautiful piece of brass.
Be an asset, not a liability.
Yeah, don't be like Jim. Get out and do some casting.
Boy.
Go ahead, Miguel.
Okay. Reload and train to succeed.
That's a
Nice.
good one. And squeeze. Don't yank that trigger.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great time.